What is going on, YouTube people? Neo here for the weekly sports card market update. Been talking a lot of graded shenanigans this week. That's been most of the news stuff. So we won't touch too much on that. I went over the gem rate data in the video yesterday. Highly encourage you guys to check that out. If you missed it, I was on Sports Cards Anonymous Friday night live chill thing for about 2 hours. You can go check out the replay of that video on his channel. We had a pretty good discussion over there. I had my local card show yesterday. Hartville, Ohio. Went out to that one. Was there for a lot longer than I thought, talking to a lot of different people. Didn't make any deals. Came really close to pulling the trigger on a couple things, but I was mostly just looking to trade. I didn't want to throw out a lot of cash a few weeks before the national. I'm kind of in national prep right now, going through inventory of not just cards, but like supplies like camera batteries and memory cards and what bags do I want to take and wires and all that dumb stuff that I need to take as a content creator. So if anyone has I'm in the market for a portable battery charger for like a phone and cameras, like that sort of stuff, like one of those USB battery packs. But something that's, that can charge multiple times per day because I don't know how long it's going to be. So if anyone has a good recommendation on that, do me a favor and either throw the name of it or an Amazon link or whatever. Don't link to it because YouTube gets weird if you put links in comments. Just put the name of it that I could search for on Amazon and I'll go find it if there's something that you're absolutely in love with to check out. I'm just beginning to deep dive into those. But yeah, I'm in full national prep mode. Before we dive into the main video, that's the other question. And I've asked this before, but I am curious, and I may do a standalone thing on this, but just if you would, in the comments down below, what type of content are you looking for out of the national? Like, you can't attend the national. What do you want to see? Like, what is your ideal thing? Is it more the vlog style content? Like people walking up and down the aisles, showing showcases, showing deals go down? Or would you rather just see like, here's the pile of cards that I dealt with and then, go a little story time through each individual deal that I made versus actually it being on the show floor? Or more daily recap style things, maybe with some guests, like, hey, here's the vibe that we're seeing, hearing, like that sort of stuff. I have ideas for content that I'm going to do, and I'm sure things are going to change once I get on site, get the lay of the land, and things start happening. But I was just curious for what you guys and girls thought about that. So before we dive into the charts and graphs today, one final thing. Today's video is sponsored. That's right. Today's video is sponsored by MySlabs. I've talked about them recently. That's where I purchased the Vlad Guerrero on the PSA 10 Blue. And the big thing about them is only 1% seller fees for selling. So instead of having to pay 13, 14% eBay fees, only 1% seller fees. And then you use PayPal goods and services. So you have buyer and seller protection on that end. So I would highly recommend checking them out. There'll be a link to their website down below. So we thank them for sponsoring this video. So before we dive in, let's take a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will dive into some charts and graphs.
Tired of paying 10%, 15%, or more to sell your cards, comics, and digital collectibles? How does 1% sound? Too good to be true? Well, not anymore. MySlabs.com is the web's premier user-driven marketplace for buying and selling slabbed cards, sealed wax, and now slabbed comics and digital collectibles. So the next time you're forced to pay 10% or more to sell something from your collection, head over to MySlabs.com and join the 1% revolution.
And once again, thank you to MySlabs for sponsoring this video. Once again, highly recommend checking them out and checking out I say this all the time. You should be checking every buying and selling platform out there if you're in the market to go buy something. You could find deals out there, whether it's MySlabs or some of the other ones. Before you go to eBay, at least check the other buying and selling platforms. And if you're going to post something on eBay, you could just cross post it on My Slabs too and reach a wider audience and save some fees. So, the biggest thing of the week and really the last 2 weeks is Otani Mania. His stuff is going absolutely crazy. I pulled 14 days worth of charts on him just because I was a little curious. And I'm just looking at his 18 tops chrome, just his base stuff or his base tops chrome stuff like refractors. I didn't pull any of his update stuff or any of his Bowman, but pretty much everything's up a ton. Scrolling down here, his base chrome is currently sitting at almost $400. It's up 54%. His refractor's up to $1,000 now for his PSA 10 refractor. That's up 115%. His pink is up to 825, up 96%. I've talked about that card in the past because I had one for a hot minute and sold it. I made a couple $100 on it, $150 on it, but what are you going to do? Wish I still had it, but is what it is. His Prism refractor is only up 27%, but one has not sold in 4 days, 5 days. So there is not a recent sale on that. I'd assume if there is, that would be a little bit higher. And then his Sepia, one sold one, or Sepia, one sold the other day for $710, up 46%. That one always kind of lags behind. It's not the prettiest of cards. That's a bad scan too, but I actually have. So I talked about national prep earlier. One of the things that I did that I checked off my list is I had a bunch of inventory sent home from Star Stock. I had probably about 6 or 8 slabs sitting on there that I had shipped home to take to the Nationals. So, and a lot of that is Otani stuff. We'll get into that. I'll do a Star Stock mail day this week because it's about 6 or 7 cards, I think. I don't remember exactly, but I shipped quite a few home to begin to load up inventory to take with me to the National. And then if they don't sell, I could always send them back. It cost me $5 or $6 to pull them off and $5 or $6 to send them back. Not the end of the world. But so those should be here this week. I think those are coming in on Wednesday. But yeah, Otani's going nuts. I've been talking about this with everybody. What do you do with this guy? Is it buy high, sell high, wait and see, hold? This is a classic case of, boy, I wish I bought more than one pink because I would have sold one and held one type situation. And I was a major advocate of selling him at the beginning of the season, like 100%. He was one of the guys that I said sell the most because people made a ton of money off of him. If you got in early, his stuff was dirt cheap in January, and in the spring, people were like 10xing their money on him, and that's the smart play. 95% of the time, I think that's going to work out in your favor. If you did it with Tatis, Acuna, a lot of the other guys, you're probably sitting just fine. Some of that stuff went back up, but it never got back up to or slightly above the all-time March highs that a lot of this stuff was at. Otani is the one that breaks that rule. So you're going to miss on some, but if you do it across the board, odds are you'll end up coming out ahead in the long run. So I've been trying to cherry pick stuff off just to have some stuff of his. And most of that was all Star Stock stuff. I got a PSA 9 refractor, a PSA 9 pink refractor, and a PSA 10 sepia, and I had all that stuff shipped home. I got it all under market value because once again, with these alternative selling platforms, sometimes people are slow about updating the prices. So when stuff really spikes, there's deals to be had on that stuff, especially on Star Stock and My Slabs both. So I had those shipped home. I'll see what I end up doing them, but I really just don't know what to do with him. I think the two PSA 9s I'm actually going to hold on to and may try to move the PSA 10 sepia. We'll see. I'm going to take it all with me to the National. We'll see what happens. I don't have any other shows planned, I don't think, before the Nationals. So that'll probably be the next time that I get a chance to move a lot of stuff. But I've made a number of community posts about it. I've talked about it on Twitter. I really just don't know what to do. What he is doing is absolutely insane. If he can keep it up, he's the runaway AL MVP. But who knows? Another thing I want to talk about on him. I do think with Otani Mania right now that there are, and you've seen it. I've made plays on Vlad Guerrero Jr. I've made plays on Lubob. I made some plays on Eloy Jimenez, which you'll see that in the Star Stock video. And we'll look at some of that other stuff here in a minute. I think a lot of the baseball money, and we talked about this with Dakota too on Sports Cards Anonymous on Friday. A lot of the baseball money right now is getting funneled into Ohtani. And I think it's creating buying opportunities on other players because their prices are kind of stagnant or slightly dipping down. So if you were looking to get into a Tatis, a Vlad, an Acuna, a Devers, a Jordan, a Lubob, a Eloy, whoever, pick your player. I think, like especially auctions and stuff, as we talk about a lot, I think there's deals to be had there because there's so much focus and money going towards Ohtani cards. I know personally, I went after Vlad pretty hard because his stuff seemed pretty cheap. He's leading the league in batting, at least the AL at 340. He's second in home runs, I think, and like third in RBIs, maybe second in RBIs. And if anything happens to Ohtani, he's your AL MVP. We'll see if they can sneak into the playoffs. And if he can catch Ohtani in home runs, he is right there in everything else. He has a legit shot at Triple Crown. He has the best numbers other than Ohtani out of all the other guys, and his prices are still the cheapest. Now, I know he has issues, whole 9 yards, but just the general trend of there are buys to be had in the baseball market that are not Ohtani. So if you're thinking about buying Ohtani, maybe do a deep dive on an Acuna, a Tatis, a Soto, whoever, and maybe you could pick something up. Speaking of Eloy, it came out this week that he's going to be back at the end of July to early August. And that's a lot faster than I think people thought. And it did cause his stuff to spike a little bit. His base chrome is up 32%. His base refractor is up 10%. And his pink is up 22%. Seeing a little bit of a run up there. I was big on Eloy in the preseason, and then he got hurt. Luckily, I had moved most of the stuff, pretty much all the stuff, prior to the season actually starting. So I'll be curious to see what they could do. The White Sox are a lock for the playoffs, basically. And, maybe he could pop off in the playoffs, or just the fact of him coming back enough is going to be a little bit of a bump. Lubob's the other one. I talked about it with Eloy. His stuff's kind of hit the floor and is slowly starting to rebound. Once again, this is a 14-day look at his charts. His base chrome over the last 2 weeks is up 30%. His refractor is up 6%, and his pink is up 18%. I recently picked up a couple pinks. We showed that on the mail day the other day. And if I back this chart up a little bit, like if we go back 90 days here, you could kind of see the downward trend. Here's the preseason, peaked in March. He got hurt. Stuff started going down. And you could kind of see it leveled off kind of mid-June was kind of the bottom. June 22nd, his base chrome was $56. His chrome pink refractor was 127, and his regular chrome refractor got all the way down to 155 ish, give or take. So it looks like this was about his floor right here in June, and it is slowly. You can see these graphs are starting to turn northward on him. I haven't heard news on exactly when he's supposed to be coming back, but I believe it's going to be sooner rather than later. And once again, they're going to be in the playoffs. So if he does something in the playoffs, we'll see. I'm not the biggest Lubob believer, but if you bought in at these low points in mid-June, I think you're going to do okay just flipping the news of him coming back. And then heaven forbid he actually does anything at all. Last baseball one, same thing. Wander seems to have hit the bottom. His Bowman Chrome, first Bowman Chrome PSA 10, bottomed out at 185. It is back up to 212 from an all-time high of 320. So still down about $110, 33%, 34% overall. But it does look like this card may have found its bottom at around 200-ish. And is kind of floating from here. And I suspect it's going to stay right around there. Unless he starts doing something crazy. If he starts jacking a bunch of home runs, then his stuff could go up. But I don't know that that's necessarily in his nature. He's not really necessarily a power hitter. So we'll see what he does going forward from here. But it seems like we've hit the Wander basement. Let's talk about football really quick. I did not pull any individual football charts Once again, it was kind of a slow week, but the big takeaway here is once again, over the last 7, we are seeing green creep in a little bit more. Kyler Prism base up slightly. Paper Donruss down a little bit, but that one actually had a big run up the week before, so that's not surprising. Mahomes Optic up a little bit. Lamar Jackson, Donruss, paper up a little bit. Still not a lot of sales though. Over a 7-day period, football PSA 10, the most sold card was Kyler PSA 10 at 19. So, and you quickly get in the single digits when you scroll down this list. And as we scroll down, there is some more green, 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 and then we get back in the reds. But the numbers are a little bit smaller. 15% here on Herbert Mosaic. A lot of this Mosaic stuff's creeping down. Prism staying pretty flat. Drew Lock flat. Clyde Edwards-Helaire up a little bit. Tua McCaffrey down a little bit. But the top moving stuff is holding its own to slightly going up. We'll see as we get closer to the end of the month and we swing more into football season. I don't know if it's because of everyone's been questioning, is the football market going to bounce back? We don't really know. And then we also have the NBA finals going a little later than normal. So there's still a lot of attention focused on that. Once that wraps up, which could be fairly quickly here, who knows? I will be very curious to see where this stuff goes once we wrap up the NBA finals. We have the NBA finals ending. MLB is about to go on All-Star break, and we could hit a little bit of a dead zone here in the sports world. And maybe that's the jolt that football needs, is nothing else in the way. Everyone's still saying around national time. We'll see. We'll keep watching it. Basketball. I have a few individual things to talk about, but just kind of what I'm seeing basketball market as a whole. Other than Trae Young, well, even his stuff's kind of found the bottom. Basically, other than the guys in the finals, I think a lot of the NBA market maybe has found its floor. Once again, you look at the top of this chart and list by number of sales, and this is over the last 7 days. Trae Young is number 1, not surprising. But the interesting thing here is the percentages. Ayton's down a little bit, but Ja Morant only down 0.7% over the week with 58 sales. Scrolling down here, Zion-based Prism up 3% with 36 sales. That's a 2018. 2018 Luka-based Prism, 43 sales, a 2% change downwards. And you continue to see the same thing. RJ Barrett down 8.84. Cam Johnson, big bump up because he's had a couple big finals games. Donovan Mitchell, 27 sales, down 4%. Luka-based Donruss, not much of a change. Zion-based Mosaic, not much of a change. And you're starting to see a lot more green. In the past, when I would scroll through these over the last 7 days, it would be literally all red. Now we're seeing green sneak in. So it does appear, and I want to do a deeper dive on NBA market prices, maybe this week. I haven't done the Friday video like I was doing since we're just down to 2 teams. But maybe midweek of this week, I would like to do a little bit more like a 60 or 90-day look at the NBA market, because I think we've hit the bottom. I think we're basically there. And I think we're going to start seeing small upticks from here, and then we'll see spikes as offseason news happens. I don't think Lillard's going to get traded now, but if he would, his stuff would spike, and whatever team he would go to, whoever their star is on that team, stuff would spike. Stuff like that. If Dallas does something spicy, could juice the Luka market a little bit. But I feel like we've hit the floor on NBA. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels right. Like it's been 2 or 3 months since most of these guys have stopped playing. So, I think there's still a dip coming for the guys, whoever gets eliminated, whether it's most likely going to be the Bucks, but so Giannis probably has a dip coming. Probably even Booker and Paul, to be honest with you. Speaking of, we'll do him last. We'll start with them since we transition. Chris Paul stuff remains flat. I'm a little surprised by this. His PSA 10 is at 1,500. It's been there for a while. His PSA 9 is up a little bit to 400 from 380, but not much of a change there. Fairly low pop. This is his Topps Chrome base. Nothing crazy. But PSA 10s and 9s, we've been talking about this card a lot. I'm just really surprised this hasn't gotten a little bit more run up with Paul probably getting his first title and maybe even a finals MVP. So this just goes to show that the championships matter, but they don't to a degree. We'll see. Interested to see what this card does over the next couple of days, especially if they win again, and it looks like they might sweep or gentleman's sweep. Booker has gotten a little bit of a bounce. He's up 20% on the week, up to 1,200 now on his base PSA 10 Prism. This will be a very interesting one to watch. If they win, I would not be surprised if this card goes down. Maybe a slight spike and then a quick turn down. That's just usually what we see happen. It happened with Davis last year. Anthony Davis won, and within a day, his card prices went down because the market got flooded. I am very interested to see if Booker follows suit. He would be an interesting buy on the dip right after uh, the NBA Finals if his stuff dipped down because the market gets flooded. Very curious to see what Booker's prices do once they lock up the NBA title. Assuming that they do, we'll see what happens tonight in Game 3 with Milwaukee back on their home court. And then last but not least, just wanted to check in with LeBron Topps Chrome. It got the Gary V pump back on 625-ish. Since then, it's up quite a bit. I posted about this the other day. The 21K sale is the highest leader in the clubhouse for a while. One sold after that, slightly less, down to 20,000. One is actually ending today. I'm recording this on Saturday. I'll be curious to see what that one ends at because it's not from a premier auction house. It's just some random guy, but he only has like 95% buyer feedback or eBay feedback, 95% rating, which is pretty low. So I'll be curious to see how that goes. I wouldn't be surprised if that one dips a little bit. But there is a PWCC one ending Sunday night, I think. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure another one ends on Sunday. So I've been tracking that market pretty closely just because I'm curious since I have the 8. But once again, some of the lower grades are still lagging a little bit. So PSA 10's up 56% this is from the 25th. PSA 9's up 30%. PSA 8, one has not sold since July 4th. I think one of these ends on Saturday. I don't remember. I just don't think it's ended yet prior to me recording this. So I'll be curious to see where that one gets to. BGS 9 up 30% and 9.5 is flat because it had kind of a high sale here on 625 and then dipped down and then went back up again. So I don't know if this one was just an outlier or what the deal was. So we'll see where that ends up. If you're looking to get into the base crow market, it looks like 8s and stuff are still lagging. We'll see. Like I said, there's one ending in a few hours here on Saturday. So once again, I'll be curious to see where that comps out at. This is slightly over what I paid for mine. And I bought mine about 3-4 weeks ago now. I got mine for $2K right on the nose with free shipping. This is at $20.75, so a very, very slight increase from when I purchased mine. But that's all I got for you guys and girls today. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check me out on Dakota's video on Sports Cards Anonymous's channel. Go check out my slabs if you haven't, and I thank them for sponsoring this video. So smash the like button, all that good stuff. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.